got something to say.
Oh.
Yeah, put my voting record up again.
Yeah, come
You know,
on.
something like your community service. You know, something like yeah, like that one. So
We are doing this project called Coloring for the Culture. And so we are meeting with legacy residents of historic Black neighborhoods in Houston. And then we're using those stories in this futuristic space. We will partner with graphic designers to take those stories, turn them into comic book strips, and then create this larger than life color by number. And so people will be able to learn about your story in this really cool modality of coloring because we all love coloring, but a way to see ourselves in this Afrofuturistic space because our Black neighborhoods are being swallowed up by gentrification and development, or gentrification disguised as development.
right.
And with that, as we know, Black people are a migrant community, and so we carry our communities within us. And if our communities are gone, then so are those stories. If our neighborhoods are gone, so are those communities. Those communities, because those stories are now silenced. And so we want to do our part to make sure we're doing it. So what I couldn't do is do this project and not come consort and consult and come talk to the Freedmen's Town mayor around these parts, Charonda. So I'm gonna let you have a second to introduce yourself, and then we're gonna start talking about this wonderful neighborhood of Freedmen's Town.
Okay. My name is Charonda Johnson, and I am the vice president of the Freemanstown Association. I'm the vice president of the Freemanstown Preservation Coalition, and I am the president of the Fourth Ward Health and Educational Center. I'm affectionately known as the mayor of Freemanstown, and I have had the luxury for my family to be here for 5 generations.
That is royalty. Royalty. I've been doing this, Sharonda. This you are the fifth or sixth story that I've done, and everybody's that I've met, like their parents, their grandparents, maybe their. I don't think we got to great grandparents. Their grandparents, I believe, yeah, moved here. So
Yeah.
most people were. Everybody that I've interviewed, their families moved here between the 30s and the 40s,
Right.
somewhere around there. And so for you to say 5 generations in, y'all was way back when, and that, man, you like the the oldest person in Houston I met, so to speak,
and I
generation wise.
and transparently, we've had I have community members. They have 8 generations
Man.
in this community, and so I'm considered a baby with my
Yeah,
5.
yeah, I
Right.
love it. I love it. Well, hold on, I'm gonna double check this audio real quick, make sure it's good before we jump off into it,
Okay.
and then we're gonna start. So let me make sure. Okay, we're good. We ready. We ready. We ready. Okay, so walk me through the lineage. How did you come to be in Freedmanstown? So let's start with generation one, and as much as you can, walk me to your generation.
Now this is where it takes a surprising turn.
Okay.
So I'm a grandmother, and my great grandmother actually was informed about Freemanstown. My great grandmother never came to Freemanstown to live; she came to visit. Now, my grandmother, on the other hand, actually came to Freemanstown, and she was really a party girl. Like Freemanstown was the life, and it was told to us that we were told to come here because there was a place for us where we can be free and we could actually thrive. And like it was like the word on town. And my family came to Freemanstown by way of Matagorda Bay. And I point that out because Jack Yates, a very prominent figure in our community, his family also came to Freemanstown by way of Matagorda Bay. And so they try to say that everyone came from Galveston, and it's like, no, this story is much bigger, much bigger than that. So once freedom was announced, people came from all over to be free. And I'm actually just proud to be a part of a story that has, resilience and legacy connected, and that Freemanstown does not have a slave narrative. So many times with African American history, we think it starts with slavery. It really doesn't, but that's what we're given. And so with Freemanstown, there's no slave narrative. Everything that was done in this community was done by free men and women. And knowing that now, I didn't know that as a kid.
Yeah.
And like now, so my mission is to make sure that every kid in the state of Texas knows about the goodness and the wholesomeness of the freedmen and women in Freedmantown. And just, there's people who have been in Texas for generations. They have no idea. I've never heard of Freedmantown.
Yeah.
It was like, oh no, you heard of it, but you heard it as Fourth Ward.
Yeah.
And so, and as I always point out to everyone, River Oaks is also Fourth Ward. And because Fourth Ward is a zone, and and the city used those zones in 1836. Like they stopped using the ward system in 1906. And the fact that we still even refer to the wards is just crazy. But it's to depict black and brown people, and it's in a negative manner.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's go back. You shared so much. Okay, so first off, I love the fact that you're standing 10 toes in. Hey, Freedmanstown is not born of some type of enslavement situation. Right. It was free men and women that came together and built this community, which I love, especially as I think about the work that we do with Juneteenth Houston,
right,
and how it's predicated in one core value, and that's joy. Yeah. Like, this is not about struggle. This is not about a fight. Like, we get to have like some really beautiful stories that are just beautiful stories. And so I love that. Backing up, now you said your great grandmother came here to visit.
Right.
Your grandmother heard, hey, this is the place to come.
Right.
So did she move here?
My grandmother moved
Your
here.
grandmother moved here. And do you remember when she moved here?
I don't remember when she moved here.
You know about how old she might have been?
My grandmother was in her 20s when she got here.
Okay, so she was in her 20s when she got here. And then what happened?
She never left.
We love that. We love that.
Right. So my grandmother, she was a matriarch of the neighborhood, and so I hear stories. I hear stories about how my grandmother would literally take people in and feed and just like be the mother and grandmother of a community.
Yeah.
And
I had bed and breakfasts before people knew what a bed and breakfast was.
Right. And so like, that's actually true. And so when you go to these historic row houses that are disrespectfully called shotgun houses, that term is shogun.
Yes. Correct the people.
Yes.
Correct the people. Which are aerodynamically designed for a specific reason, so that breezes move back and forth in a time where there was no central AC and no window units and all of that.
And they were built with the best available technology. And so, like, because how are they still standing?
Come on.
Okay, and so anytime you go to a historic row house that has 2 front doors, that indicates that if you were Black, that you could lodge there, because of course, African Americans could not get proper treatment. You couldn't go to hotels, you couldn't get lodging and things of that nature. And so what we did, we provided everything for ourselves. And so what I passionately tell the youth, there is nothing new up under the sun. Everything is just reimagined. And so we had shared spaces, which was Pilgrim Building. We had Airbnbs. Like, we did all those things in Freedmanstown. And so as far as the culture and the blueprint, like Freedmanstown, like, we are the blueprint. And so what I affectionately ask people is, like, you don't have to actually be from here, like went to school here, grew up in this community, but you're actually connected. You just have to dig deep enough to find your roots. Because if you're a generational Texan, 9 times out of 10, you have roots in Freedmanstown. You just have to find them. And we ask you to go and find them so you can come home. And we're often told that, y'all fight for communities and y'all don't even own anything in those communities. Well, not so with Freedmanstown.
Yeah.
And so we have these things called the historic brick streets of Andrews and Wilson. And the descendants of the formerly enslaved actually paid for the bricks. Yeah. And so if you're a descendant of slaves, then you actually have some ownership in the brick streets of Freedmanstown. Yeah. And the fact that that the street is still standing, the legacy is here, and all we have to do is promote and protect it. Like, our job is easy. I tell people all the time, like, I follow the ancestors, I follow the elders. And so, like, I have all kind of ideas that I want to do. But if they don't align with the elders and they don't align with the community, then I can't do that. Yeah. Because I need the community to do the things, for the resources. Yeah. Like, I need the community. So I just can't come here with these ideas. And so, like, with art and things of that nature, like, we'll pause with that, because for centuries, for decades, especially in this community, we were infringed upon by these artists and these photographs, of us flipping on mattresses and stuff like that. And those depictions, like, even though I don't think there was ill intent, but when you monetize them and you didn't come back to the community, you didn't come back to the person who photo it is, that's what the problem is. And that's where we get exploited. And so, like, how can art heal, and how can art come in and just mend the wounds? And that's why I'm so grateful for the Contemporary Art Museum. And so when they came into this community with the Rebirth in Action project, that was the thing. Like, yeah, we hear y'all don't really like the art stuff, and y'all don't like how you all were depicted. And so, like, we want to hear, we want to tell you all a story. And I love that they sent artists in to find out and learn from the actual community before they created the artwork. And please, artists, don't go and make something in the community and think someone should be grateful. How dare you? How dare you? Now, yes, we're grateful for your craft, but no, don't think that we should be grateful because you brought us something that 10 times out of 10 we didn't even want.
I love that. I love that you are centering what the community desires, what the community deserves, around what the community is offered. I think that is one of the things that we see often in our communities is people come thinking with some savior complex. And unfortunately, it don't matter what color skin you in, everybody feels like people in black communities are poor and disenfranchised and don't have a means, and then you are some white knight in shining armor coming to save us, and you project onto us your best for us versus asking us what we believe our best is. And so I love that. I love that. Okay, so great grandmother came and visited. Grandmother found out this was the spot to be. Grandmother came, moved in the 20s, and then when did she have your mama? Did she move in? Did she move to the community with your mama? Already, has she already had her, or did she have her while she was here?
So my mom was actually born in Bay City, and she lived with my great grandmother. And so my grandmother was already down here. So my mom migrated back and forth from Bay City to Galveston and to Houston and to California. So my mom also grew up in California. And so and my mom came here, and so I was born here.
You was born, okay.
My daughter was born here. My grandson was born here, and my granddaughter will be born here coming up soon.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that. So share with me like one of your fondest memories in Freedmen's Town. Like, this is something everybody needs to know, that's like a core memory of you when you sit around with your family and y'all at family reunion or y'all having family dinner or whatever, and y'all bring up these old stories about things that happened in the neighborhood. What's one of those things?
Well, I used to play on top of the Gregory School on the roof. Me, my brothers and sisters, that was our playground. Like, the Gregory School at that time was an abandoned building, and the Gregory School is also the first public school for African American children. I'm in Houston, and in my childhood in the '80s, it was already abandoned, and that was my playground. And now that I'm an adult and I look up there, and now when I do tours and stuff, I be telling people like, man, we were so adventurous. Like, we didn't have any fear. And the fact that, I knew that it was something else about this community growing up around here, because there were so many grand buildings and just, architectural styles that, I just didn't see. And they kept saying, like, the slave did this and the slave did that, and it just didn't make sense. And my mom was an avid reader, and so, like, she always encouraged us to read, and, like, so that's how we were able to escape, because we were not a fortunate family to be able to take, family vacations and things of that nature. So, like, we were readers. And so the fact that I got a love from reading from my mom, and I'm just like, because we used to be on top of the Gregory School, like, reading books and stuff. This is how crazy it is, but that's one of my fondest memories, especially because my brothers and sisters were there with me as well, and the Gregory School was our playground.
And I think about what comes to mind is generational wealth, right? And so many times, because we are forced into this capitalist system, we understand generational wealth, and we accept generational wealth as this financial thing that's passed down. And we exclude ourselves from generational wealth because that's a white thing and black people don't make enough money and blah, 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 and all of those things. But the story that I just heard was full of generational wealth. that building would not be there if it were not for your ancestors who built that space to teach Black kids, right? Like,
Right.
and so though abandoned, it was still an edifice for you to find space and community and family and all of those things. That's one. Two, then for you to be able to read and escape there, right?
Yeah.
Like to be sitting in the past almost on this building, right? But be living in all of these various
Right.
timelines
Mhm.
through these stories that are written and told by somebody else, who your mother ensured that y'all had access to, so that you could explore things even if you physically couldn't get there.
Right.
That's all generational wealth to
Right.
me, like that's access. And I love that. That makes me feel really good. Okay, so as we wrap up, we talked about the red bricks and our ownership, collective ownership of those.
Right.
We talked about your family migration into Freedmen's Town and the ones on the and the baby on the way,
Right.
which we all excited about. And we talked about the Gregory School a bit. What do what do you believe Freedmen's Town deserves? What does this community deserve?
Freedmen's Town deserves, in my opinion, it's just my little opinion.
Your big opinion.
Yeah.
You the mayor.
Right. That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Freedmen's Town deserves for the city entities to basically just have a come to Jesus meeting. And I have to say that the city of Houston right now is on that voyage with the Brick Street project that is slated to happen sometime soon, where we're getting our brick streets actually preserved and restored to its former glory.
Yeah.
And that's the first step. For me, it was so many policies that damaged Freedmen's Town, enemy domain like the black codes and things of that nature. And so if we want to repair the damage, and so like all of these properties that were taken by enemy domain, something should happen with that. And I'm basically talking about like I-45 and things of that nature. So there were so many things systematically created to destroy this community. And we need to create the systems to restore this community.
Yeah.
And when I say we, I'm saying like the grassroots, the city government, the community. Like we have to team up together, like we have done in this Rebirth in Action project. It was a long time coming, and we all finally got on the same page. Now, no, everybody didn't get what they wanted, or what they really wanted, but we got a consensus. Well, everyone could find some kind of middle ground.
Yeah.
And I think the damage that was purposely inflicted on Freedmen's Town, it needs to be acknowledged, and we need to create a system to basically correct the problems. Because gentrification, urban renewal, however you want to call it, like it's race is a factor in that.
Yeah.
But it's about the green dollar, because in this community, people who don't look like me can't afford to live here. And so that's when I got out of my feelings, and I wanted to be active instead of being proactive. Every time something happens, we want to react. Like, no, let's have a plan, for before this stuff even happens.
Yeah.
And so, because we have to get out of our feelings, because there's no money in there. Only you care about what you feel about. And so get out of your feelings, and what can you do? What can you do to actually move the needle?
Yeah.
And so like we do so much and we pour into so many things, but are we really moving the needle?
Yeah.
And so in my community, I just felt like we needed someone else to represent us. We had a historic figure. Her name is Gladys House L. And every time I talk about Gladys House, I would have to tell people that if it were not for Gladys House, there wouldn't be a Freedmen's Town to remember, to be in. Now, we would be remembered by plaques, but there would not be an actual Freedmen's Town, because she took it upon herself to do something about erasure and a problem that she saw coming. She saw it, she was way before her time. And so that's when I say I'm led by the ancestors now. As problematic as people might think that she is, we need Gladys House in every community in Houston.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite one. I'm gonna have to cut that part out. I don't want nobody to be mad, but that'll be fine. I applaud. I'm inspired. I acknowledge and honor like your commitment, your passion, your focus, like your willingness to be a model for people to follow. I think that what you are doing, what you have done, is admirable work. I think that you are the legacy of our ancestors in real time, in real life. And I'm grateful to live in a city in the same time that you are alive.
Oh,
You are the breath of fresh air that we all look for. We know that people like us, we're not like everybody else.
right,
We wake up with a different charge. We wake up with a different level of responsibility. And not that people couldn't be this, but people just aren't. There's
right,
not a whole lot of people who are, who choose to go against the grain because the majority of people are going in the wrong direction and they don't know they're going in the wrong
right.
direction. And so to wake up daily and to do this work, we know is a heavy lift. And to have to hold the hope for people as well as the heaviness of their life at the same time, to give honor to both, is not always easy. So to meet other people who do it with a smile and a conviction, it just means the world to me. So thank you so much for being a part of this. I can't wait to put this on the big screen, so to speak, for everybody to see. As we wrap up, the last thing I have is, give me 3 words that describe Freedmen's Town. 5 if you need them, but preferably 3.
Hmm. We can save ourselves.
Hmm, that feel real good.
Yeah, and I got my sweatshirt on, like, yeah, we
Let the
are
people
free.
see
We
it.
are Freedmen's Town.
Ah,
Yeah,
ah, ah, ah.
yeah, we
Catch it,
are. Yeah.
catch it, stay right there, stay right there, catch it, catch it, catch it. Oh, oh, boom, done.